Just a moment. Just a moment. So let's begin our class. I'm going to begin with the other poem of Dickinson that you have. That is, I Am Wife. I have finished that. So let's first start. Let me first present the screen for you. Just wait. Let me get the screen in front of you. I hope you can see the poem in front of you. Can you see the poem in front of you? Just tell me whether you can
Yes, sir.
see it. Oh, fine.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. Fine, great. What I will do is now I'm going to read the poem first and then explain to you the meaning of the poem. This poem is I Am Wife, I Have Finished That by Emily Dickinson. It's a very short poem. Unlike the earlier poem that we read, which was a longish one, this is a short poem of just 3 stanzas of 4 lines each. I am wife, I have finished that other state. I am czar, I am a woman now, it's safer so. So what is Dickinson telling in these first 4 lines? Now before we go to the poem, let us know a little bit about Dickinson, the person, Dickinson the poet. The fact is that Emily Dickinson, though she lived for close to around 60 years, she was a spinster. A spinster means a woman who did not get married. Now that was something which is not very common at that time, but here is a person we find that who remained a spinster, did not get married in her life. Not only she, but also her sister Lavinia Dickinson, both of them remained spinsters. There are a lot of stories about it. We'll come to it later as we read the poem. I'm wife. I finished that other state. So she's telling that she is now a wife. Now this is something which Dickinson did not ever become. But here she's telling that I am wife. I finished that other state. That other state means being a bachelor, being a spinster, not being married. So today she's telling, as she writes the poem, that here I am a wife. And that other state, that of being a spinster, I've done with that. I finished that. So I'm no longer spinster. Today I'm a wife. So that other state which you find in front of you, this refers to being a spinster, being an unmarried woman. So she's telling that today she's a wife and she's no longer a spinster. Today I am wife. I'm today a wife. I finished that other state. That other state means being a spinster, being unmarried. She's no longer unmarried. Today she has become a wife. So the first 2 lines tell that she is past that spinsterhood. She's no longer unmarried. She has got married and she's finished, done with being an unmarried woman. I'm czar. I'm woman now. It's safer so. Now what does the word czar mean? Can any one of you tell me what the word czar means? Do any one of you have any understanding of what the word czar means?
King.
I think this is king, yeah. Tsar is a Russian word. It refers to a ruler in Russia. Tsar means I'm the ruler. I'm everything. I'm omnipotent. I'm woman now. It's safer so. So she's telling that today she's a Tsar. Today she's an omnipotent ruler. Today she has complete control over herself. So now that she has become a woman, now that she has become a wife, now that she's past her unmarried state, now that she's no longer a spinster, she's today a czar. She's today in complete control of herself and worldly affairs. I'm woman now. So today I've become a complete woman. So according to her, being a wife means also being a complete woman. Being a wife also means being in complete control of herself. Being a wife also means achieving or fulfilling a kind of a complete womanhood. So that is what Emily Dickinson is trying to say in the first three lines. So the first three lines are completely contrary to what Emily Dickinson, the person, was in her own life. In her own life, she was spinster. In her own life, she remained unmarried. In her own life, she did not get married. But in this poem, she is re-emphasizing or emphasizing the fact that marriage is a very important part of woman's life. Today she is married. Today she is out of that other state. That other state means being a spinster. And today she's a czar in complete control of herself. She's a woman now. She's fulfilling her womanhood. So that is what she's telling in the first three lines. So in the first three lines, she's telling that she's today in control complete of herself. She's a complete woman. She's a wife now. And being a wife means being a woman. Being a wife means being a czar. But then in the fourth line, she says, it is safer so. So this line can be read ironically. What do we mean by the term ironically? I'm telling something, but the meaning is something which is completely opposite to that. It is safer so. Now, is she telling that being a wife is being safer? Is she telling that wife is a safe option? Is she telling that living as a spinster, living as an unmarried woman would have been very subversive? So she has taken a safer option? Just read the first four lines for yourself. I think try to get the meaning very clear. The meaning is, first she's telling that she's a wife. Now, being a wife, what does it mean? She's finished off. What has she finished off? That other state. What was the other state? Being unmarried. So she's telling that being a wife, she is done, she's finished that other state. That other state means being a unmarried woman. She's no longer unmarried woman. She's done with it. She's finished it. She's got over it. She's got out of it rather. And then she says in third line, I'm Tsar. I'm a ruler. I'm the king. I can do all that I want. I do not need to listen to anyone. And I'm a woman now. Today I'm a woman. A complete woman. I'm fulfilling my womanhood. That I've now become a wife. That I'm now past that unmarried state. That I'm no longer a spinster. And then in the fourth line she says, it is safer so. Being a wife is a safe option. Being a wife is an easier option. Because if you remain an unmarried woman, if you remain a spinster, then maybe you may have to face many problems in life. So being a wife is also taking a safe option, is also an easy option. So that is what she's telling. The first three lines says that being a wife is a very important aspect of life. Being a wife means that she's a complete woman. Being a wife means she's a czar. And then the fourth line she says that maybe is also at the same time a safe option. Have you understood the meaning of the first four lines? If you have any problem, you can tell me. Have you understood the meaning? I can have the screen in front of you. You can look at the poem. And if you have any problem with any one of those four lines, please tell me. What I'm trying to say is that in the first three lines, the train of thought goes in one direction. That a wife is a fulfillment of a womanhood. And she's happy that she's that. That she's no longer a spinster unmarried woman. But then the fourth line, a jarring note creeps in. And she says, maybe it is not only just being it's not only being a complete fulfillment of complete womanhood. At the same time, maybe it is also a safe option. Safe means safe in society. Safe means safer in life. Safe means an easier option. Safe means not being subversive. So not only being a wife is a kind of a fulfillment of your destiny of as a woman, not only being in control, complete control of yourself, but maybe at the same time is also a safer option. And she has today opted for a safe option. Have you understood the meaning? If you haven't understood the meaning, you can interrupt me now, because Shamunna is telling that he has understood. What about others? You can also write in the chat box, because before I move on to the next section of the poem, I would want to know from you whether you have understood the first four lines, or whether you have any problem with any of those lines. What I'm trying to say in the first four lines is that yes, she is today a woman, a wife, and that means the fulfillment of her womanhood. She's a czar. She's in control of herself. But again, at the same time, she says at the very last line that being a wife is also maybe a safe option, and that she has opted for the safe option. Okay, fine. Why this is safe option? I think Anisha, you should know why is it being a safe option. Because when you are a wife, you are under the protection of a male. You are a wife to a husband, so there is husband to look after you. The husband is going to look after economic independence. Sorry, your economic. The economics will be taken care of by a husband. It is he who is going to look after you, in the sense that a woman is supposed to be dependent to a man. And if you are an unmarried woman, then what happens? You have to look for you have to fend for yourself. In a patriarchal society, it is always safe to have a man looking after you. It is always safe to have a man by your side. And in a patriarchal society, a single woman can always attract a lot of problems, a lot of danger. Unwanted male attention. Who's going to look after you? Because when you become a wife, there's a husband look after you. Then you have children. You have family life. What about a spinster? She has no family life. After her father dies, then who looks after her? Now, where is she going to find company? Barsha asked me why she was a czar. Well, she's a czar. Czar means today she's a ruler. But to her, being a wife means to be a kind of in control of herself, ruling the household. Now, for example, what happens when you get married? When you get married, you go into a new house, and there you become the kind of you determine everything. It is you who determines what is going to happen, what is not going to happen. So in that sense, a wife in a household is a kind of a ruler, because she who determines what is going to happen, what is not going to happen. Obviously, husband assists her. Obviously, husband may have a few things to say about the household, but a wife is in control of a household. It is a wife who determines what is going to take place in the household. So in that sense, the wife is the ruler of household, isn't it? Now, who is the ruler of a household? The wife is the ruler of the household, because her husband, her children. So she is the person who looks after the household. Her husband goes out and maybe earns for her, but in the household, she is the ruler. She controls it. So in that sense, she's a ruler. So in that sense, she's a czar. Have you understood, Barsha? Why is she telling that she's a czar? She's a czar because she's in control of the household. It's she who is kind of determining what will happen and what will not happen. The important thing is not the first three lines. The important thing is the fourth line, where she says, where you may say that she kind of completely turns the argument and says that it is also a safe option. First three lines, she was telling that it's great to be a wife, it's great to be a wife because a wife means a completion, kind of my womanhood and all that. And then she says in the fourth line that it is a safe option. Yes, Anisha, why is this a safe option? It is a safe option because you have the husband looking after you. So that is a safe option. So what she's telling is that this is an option which most women will take because it is safe, it is easy. If you remain a single woman, it is a far difficult choice. Remaining a single woman is a difficult choice because you don't have a husband look after you. After your father dies, there is no male protection, kind of. And in a patriarchal society, a woman needs the male protection. But that is the fact of life. Like it or you don't like it. We have to accept it. And that is how it is. She has complete control of herself, means she has complete control of the household. That is what I'm trying to say. The household where she is kind of the wife. So that is what she has. That is what I'm meaning by the term complete control of herself. Have I been able to explain your doubts? So safe option because, as Anisha said, because being a wife is a safe option. You have the protection of a man and you can always fall back on that man. The man is always there to help you out. That is a safe option. Being a single woman is a difficult choice. Because in a practical society, there are unwanted male attention. And you have to kind of combat it. You have to kind of fight it. So that is a difficult option, a difficult choice. You have no male protection. After your father dies, then what? Your brothers, they will have their own families. They will have their own wives. So who looks after you? What happens when you become old? Who looks after you? That's it. Okay, let's now move on to the next stanza. How the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse. I think that earth feels so to folks in heaven now. She says that the girl's life, how odd the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse. The girl's life means unmarried womanhood before she became a wife. So the girl's life looks very odd, very strange. In comparison to being a wife, maybe inferior also. Behind this soft eclipse, you know what an eclipse means? An eclipse means when the sun, the earth comes under the shadow of the sun. So here she is looking from the brighter side of the eclipse, and from the brighter side of the eclipse, the life of a girl looks inferior in nature. Today she's a wife, and she's looking from the vantage point of being a wife. And when she looks from the vantage point of being a wife, to her, being a girl, being unmarried, being a spinster, looks very strange, looks kind of being inferior. Because today she's on the brighter side. There are two sides of eclipse, the darker side and the brighter side. Today she's on the brighter side. And when you look from the brighter side, the darker side seems so dark. The darker side seems there's nothing, no light, no brightness, because you are on the bright side. I think that earth feels so to folks in heaven now. So just like the earth from the heaven, the earth may feel so inferior. From heaven, the earth may feel so dark. From heaven, the earth may feel so prohibiting. Similarly to her, a girl's life looks, unmarried woman's life looks to her from the vantage point of a woman as being inferior in nature. And that is what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that today I am a wife, today I have become kind of fulfilled my womanhood. And today when I look from that vantage point, the life of a girl looks very odd. The life of a girl looks very inferior. When what I was is inferior to what I am. Today I'm a woman, a wife, and from a wife, when I look to being a woman, being a girl that I was a few days or months or years earlier, it feels that life was inferior. Just as the earth feels to be inferior from heaven. Folks in heaven mean a God in heaven. To gods in heaven, we the mortals in earth would feel to very inferior. Their life is so very fulfilling, so resplendent. And the earth in comparison to heaven is surely darker, is surely not that interesting, is surely not that exciting. And so to her, as Emily Dickinson says, a girl's life is inferior just as the earth is inferior to heaven. Similarly, a girl's life is inferior to that of wife's life. So that is what she's telling in these 4 lines. In these 4 lines, she's making very categorical that the girl's life is inferior to wife's life, just as the earth is inferior to heaven, just as from the brighter side of the eclipse, the darker side seems inferior, just as from the brighter side, the darker side seems so in comparison to the bright side, lackluster, lacking in brightness. Similarly, the girl's life seems to be lacking in brightness, seems to be lacking in sparkle, that maybe, or rather maybe, that surely the wife's life is all about. So according to her, according to Emily Dickinson, the wife's life is far more fulfilling than a girl's life. And today, as she looks to the girl's life, she finds that it is inferior in nature. Just as the earth is inferior to heaven, just as from the brighter side eclipse, the darker side looks inferior. Have you got these 4 lines? I think these 4 lines are easier to understand. She's very, very clear in these 4 lines that the girl's life is inferior to her today's life, that is being a wife. It is just as the earth is to heaven. It is just as from the softer side iclipse, the darker side is. When you are in the light, the dark seems so dark. You cannot even identify the people in the dark when you are in the light. Similarly, that is what has happened. Today she is in a vantage point. Today she is in advantageous territory. Today she has become a wife. And the girl's life looks so very uninteresting, so very dull, so very drab. Just as the earth seems so very dull and drab from the heaven. Have you got these 4 lines? I hope these 4 lines are easier than the first 4 lines. Though the meaning is very clear. The meaning is that she thinks that being a wife is far, far more superior than being a girl. And that is what she's trying to say. Except the 4th line of the first stanza, where she kinds of uses an ironical, safer thing. Other than that, she's telling it very clearly, in very clear terms, that being a wife is far, far superior, maybe, than being a girl. But remember one thing, and that is a very, very interesting thing, that Dickinson herself did not get married. So here is a poetess who is talking about being married, who is talking in glowing terms about being married, but who herself did not get married. So how does this happen? How do you explain this contradiction? The person who did not get married is talking in glowing terms about being married. How do you explain this contradiction? The question that should arise in your mind is, then why did she not get married? If she thinks of marriage in such high terms, if she thinks marriage is a summum bonum of a woman's existence, if she thinks that marriage means everything for a woman, then why did she not get married? Who stopped her from getting married? Why did she make that choice? She could as well have got married. Soft eclipse means being married. Your soft eclipse is a brighter side. Soft eclipse is the brighter side. That is the state of marriage. The darker side is the state of being unmarried. Soft means the brighter side. When in eclipse, you have 2 sides. The brighter side is being referred to as the soft side. That is of being of marriage. And from a soft side, you're looking at the darker side. And then you're looking from the point of view, the vantage point of a mad woman to that of an unmarried. The unmarried is the darker side. Softer side is the married side. I hope that is clear. So that is the contradiction. This same person who herself did not get married is speaking in such glowing and high terms about being married. The question that arises in everyone's mind is that, then is there a hidden meaning? Is there an irony behind all that? Is she trying to say something which goes beyond the superficial meaning? is there a hidden meaning lying far, far underneath? And that is something which we will have to try to understand. The fourth line of the first stanza does give us a hint when she says it is a safer option. Then did she get mad because it was safe? Then the only reason why she got mad was it would be safer than being unmarried and taking on the world. See, Farhad, don't try to compare the two poems. I think that is not going to make any sense because I think take this poem as one whole. Let's not compare these two poems. Let's take this poem as one whole and let's try to understand this poem as it stands. We can talk about this poem in comparison to other poem, but for now, let's take this poem as one whole.
স্যার আমি এটা বোঝাতে চাইছি যে আপনি একটা কোশ্চেন করলেন না যে সে কেন আনম্যারিড হলো, যদিও এই পোয়েমে সে বলতেছে যে ম্যারিড হতে। আমি এইটা লিখতে চাইছি, লেখাটা হয়তো ভুল হতে পারে, যে ওই অ্যান্সারটা আগের পোয়েমে দেওয়া আছে, তিনার মাথায় হয়তো ওই যুক্তিটা ছিল।
ঠিক আছে, we'll come to that. I understand your point. Now let's come to the third stanza, and that's the last stanza of the poem. This being comfort, then that other kind was pain. This being comfort means this being a wife is being comfortable. Then that other kind was pain. The other kind is the other one is being a girl, an unmarried woman, that is pain. So see, wife comfort and being a girl is discomfort. Very clear. This is comfort. This means what she is today, being a wife, and the other kind is what she was earlier, that was being a girl, pain. Very simple. This is comfort. This means being a wife, and the other kind being what she was earlier, that is being a girl, unmarried, was pain. And then in the last two lines, she again comes up with something very, very subversive. And then she says, but why compare? I'm wife, stop there. She says, why have I gone through this whole poem comparing between a woman being a wife and a girl? Let's stop this compare. There is no comparison. Let's stop this argument. There is no reason for this argument. I am wife. I am today a wife, and that's it. No more argument, no more words, no more talk. Is enough. No comparison. No trying to find similarities, dissimilarities being between a woman and a wife. Being a wife and a girl. So the first two lines she says that being a woman is being comfortable. Being a wife is being comfortable rather than being a girl, which according to her is painful. And these are very strong words. Something is comfortable, something is painful. And she is using very, very strong words. And then in the last two lines, she comes up and says, there's no point in being comparing. Let's not compare the two. Let's stop. Let's just stop here. I'm wife, and that's that. No more of that. So she kind of completes the argument in a very abrupt manner. She was kind of herself comparing. And then she herself says, no point in comparing. Let's stop here. We have had enough of comparing. I'm wife, and that's the fact of life, and let's end. So this is what she's telling. So this is what the poem really is. The poem is, if you really, this poem is easier to understand because there's not much of a, what I'm trying to say is that it is easier to understand because the lines are, the sentences are quite easily, you can understand them. They're quite, the lines, the sentences and the way she has phrased it, the words itself are quite easy. So that is what she's telling. This being comfort, then that other kind was pain. This is being comfortable, this means woman, and that other kind, being a girl, was painful. And then the last two lines she says, there's no point in comparing, I am a wife, and let's stop it here. And let's not get on with it. It's enough. I've done enough of comparing. I don't need to compare any further. I am wife, and I'm done, and let's stop here. Let's stop the argument for once and for all. And with this, she comes to the end of this poem. So the same argument that she was continuing, she herself says that she has had enough of that argument, she has enough of that comparison, She does not need to go into comparison any further, and she can just stop here and get done with it. And that is how, in an abrupt way, we come to the end of this poem. So these is the three stanzas of the poem. I'm just shortening a bit so that you can have the whole poem in front of your screen. I think you can have the whole poem in front of your screen now. So you can have a look at the whole poem, the three stanzas together. Do have a look at it. And if you have any problem with any of those lines, then you can obviously ask me. So have a look at the total poem. This is the three stanzas of the poem, 4 lines each. It is structured in iambic trimeter form with 6 syllables. There are some lines are 4 syllables. For example, the second line of the first stanza, the fourth line of the first stanza, these are 4 syllables, iambic diameter. Other than that, this poem has 6 syllables and is mainly constructed in iambic trimeter form. So this is the total poem in front of you. You can see the poem in front of you. It is in the screen. Do have a look at the poem. And if you have any problem with any line or any part of the poem, any phrase, anything, you can obviously ask me. But do have a look at the poem. I'm just reading the poem for you once again. I am wife. I have finished that. That other state. I am czar. I am woman now. It's safer so. The first 4 lines, I am wife. I have finished that. That other state. That other state means being unmarried. I am czar. I am woman now. I've reached complete womanhood. I'm a woman in a complete sense of a term. When does a girl become a woman? A girl becomes a woman when she gets married, when she gives birth, when she becomes a mother. So motherhood is often thought to be as the pinnacle of womanhood, of a woman becoming a woman. When does a woman become a woman? A woman becomes a woman when she becomes a mother. That is a patriarchal way of looking at it. And here she says that I am a woman now because I have got married. And marriage normally looks forward to or leads to motherhood also. It's safer so. And she thinks it's safe. And this last line is important. She thinks that that is a safe option also. How odd the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse. I think the earth feels so to folks in heaven now. So the girl's life looks how odd, how strange the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse. I am today in the soft eclipse part. I am today in the brighter side. And from this brighter side, the girl's life looks odd. Odd means strange. Odd, strange. I think that earth feels so to folks in heaven now. Similarly, just as earth feels like that to people in heaven. For gods, we mortals look similarly inferior, just as the girl looks inferior to a woman. From the part of soft eclipse, the darker side looks dark. So that is the point she's trying to make in the second stanza. That the girl's life is odd. This is how earth feels to people in heaven. She's today in the soft eclipse part because she's today, just let me get it. She's today in the soft eclipse part because she's today a woman. And the girl's life is odd. These being comfort then, that other kind was pain, but why compare, I am wife, stop there. This being comfort means being a woman is being comforting, and that other kind means being a girl was in comparison to a woman painful. So she's making a value kind of a judgment. To her, being a wife is more comfortable, is far comfortable, while being a girl was painful. So she's trying to compare the two states. The other state, this, and she's comparing today's state. And then the last 2 lines she says, that rather than going on comparing, let's stop the comparing, let's stop the comparison, I am wife, and let's get done with it. That's where I end, and that's it. So these, in the last 2 lines, suddenly and abruptly, we kind of come to the conclusion of the poem. She was talking about comparison and all that, and then suddenly she says, enough of comparison, enough of kind of making a kind of a comparative study between a girl and a wife. And she says, let's stop it, it's enough, done with it. And she's done. So that is what she's telling. So this is the whole poem in front of you. Have a look at the poem. And if you have any problem with any part of the poem, obviously I'm here. We have some 5 or 6 minutes still left. So you can ask me. Let's so repeat the last 2 lines, the last paragraph once more. Last 2 lines, last paragraph. Okay. But why compare and why stop there? Why compare? Compare between what? Between what? Comparing between a wife and being a girl. So she's asked. She's asking us to not to compare. Let's not compare. Let's stop comparing. And wife, stop there. She's telling that she's a wife, and let's stop there. Let's not go any further. That's it. Let's draw this comparison to an end. Let's bring the whole thing to an end. Stop here. No more. No further. Enough of it. That is what she's telling. So anyone of you have anything else to say? What is Jamuna did? I think which pain is I think the earth feels so. Repeat these lines. Earth feels so. This is the most simple line, I think. How does the earth feel from heaven? Suppose you're in heaven. I think I've read the Paradise Lost, book 1. How did Satan feel between the comparison between earth, between heaven and hell? Heaven was to him so lustrous, so luminous. It was so dark. Now, earth is not hell, but obviously it is infinite comparison to heaven. So you can understand, if you compare heaven and earth, obviously heaven is far, far luminous, far, far more sparkling, far, far more life there is so exciting. And earth in comparison to heaven, people do not die in heaven. They're immortals. I think this earth we are mortals. We feel the pain, the disease and everything. So obviously heaven is far, far more exciting, far, far more enriching than maybe life in this earth is. So that's quite simple. Earth is being a girl. Heaven is being a woman. So just as earth feels inferior to heaven, similarly being a girl feels inferior to being a woman. Isn't that so? I think these 2 lines are two of the easiest lines of the poem. Just as the earth seems unexciting in comparison to heaven, just as heaven seems so lustrous and so luminous, so dazzling and sparkling, so full of everything, earth is not like that. Just as Satan felt the difference between heaven and hell. In heaven he was Lucifer, the lustrous angel, the archangel. And here in hell, what did he become? He lost all his grandeur. So that is what has happened. Earth is bereft of grandeur. Heaven is full of grandeur. So if heaven is full of grandeur, earth is bereft of grandeur, then obviously earth is far, far inferior than heaven. And that is just as a girl's life is inferior to a wife's life. Isn't it? I hope you have understood, Jamuna. Farhad, which pain is being referred to in third stanza? See, now this is the important thing that we have made, pain. I think what she's telling is that in comparison to being a wife, being a girl is painful. In comparison to the comfortable life that you lead when you become a wife, being a girl is painful. That is what she's telling. And if you compare the two, this is far, far comfortable, far, far better, and that is far, far less comfortable, far, far in comparison painful. There is no pain as such that she's trying to identify. No one single pain. This is what she's saying, that in comparison to this is pain. In comparison to that, this is inferior. There is no one reason why she thinks that being a girl is painful. She's telling that in comparison to being a wife, being a girl is painful. That is, I think, what she's trying to say. I hope you understand, Farah, that there is no one single pain that she's trying to identify in being a girl. She's telling that the existence of a girl in toto is painful in comparison to the existence of a wife. I think what we shall be doing in the next class is that we'll try to understand Why she's telling all these things? Because these are things that she does not do in her own life. Then why is she coming up with all these kind of things? Because in this poem, the one clear message is that being a wife is far superior than being a girl, being unmarried. Now, do we read this poem in this very superficial way? Or do we think that there is something more to it? That maybe we'll try to find out. But as it is, if you read the poem in the way as it is, without delving too much, then this is the meaning that comes out. This is the meaning that comes out. There are some ironical lines. For example, the fourth line of the first stanza. For example, the way she closes the argument in the last two lines of the last stanza. But all in all, if you read the poem prima facie, this is the meaning that you get. I think we can. I don't think you have any further questions. So what we'll be doing in the next class is that we'll go into the depths of the poem and try to understand why she has written whatever she has written, and how do you explain this contradiction between what she was in her own life and the way she has expressed it in this poem. Can we explain that contradiction? That is what we'll be doing in the next class. And after that, we'll come to the end of Emily Dickinson. I think that is after another class, we can kind of come to the end of Dickinson. This poem, I've tried to explain it to you in the way it is, as it is in the superficial level, and we'll try to explain the contradiction that the poem has with her own life in the next class. And after that, we can kind of close Dickinson as it is. Okay, do you have any further questions? Anyone else with anything else? If anyone of you have anything else, you can still write. I'm here. Let me do one thing. Let me stop the presenting, because I think you have had a look at the poem. So I don't think we need to do any more of the presenting. Yes, that's it. There's one more. No, sir, everything is very clear. Thank you, Shamunna. It is nice having you in class nowadays. You are coming to class nowadays. Yes, folk is referring to God. Yeah, that is fine. Folk is referring to God, because folks in heaven as God. That is quite, yes, that is it. That is how it is.